How many of you have made the same mistake I did? A few years ago, I used to go into the gym max out all the time. And what I mean by maxing out is just constantly doing one rep, maybe two. And it's probably the biggest mistake that I've ever made with my training. And reasons for this are, if you're constantly maxing out all the time, where is the room for improvement? Where's the room for growth? Is there much room for new personal records, new PBs? I don't think there is. Now, the reasons for this are, number one, say you hit a 200 kilo deadlift one week, okay, and it is so difficult. Do you really think next week you're going to go in and be able to hit 205 kilos? Or what's that, like 455 pounds, 460 pounds? No. Do you think you're going to be able to improve your form by constantly doing one rep? No, of course not. When you're under total maximal load, your form will break down. There will be form breakdowns. No matter how good your form is, there will be slight form breakdowns. It's just the way it is. And it's a massive mistake because you will start to ingrain faulty motoring patterns. It brings out it shows your weaknesses. And if you keep pulling in that weak position, you're going to become very strong, and your body's going to become very efficient at pulling in that weak position. So that when you do then start to go to sub-maximal loads, your body will still pull in that weak position. See what I mean? Now, the other reason why it's not good is because the main reason, in my opinion, why it's not good is just because there's no room for growth. Think about it. Say one week you go in and hit 5 sets of 5, okay? The following week there's a much better chance of you going in and hitting 5 sets of 6. Or 6 sets of 5, which would be a volume PR. See what I mean? There's a much greater chance of you doing that. There's a lot more room for growth. Do you know what I mean? And as well, when you're pulling in sub-maximal load, that's when you can really work on your form. Now in sub-maximal load, if you can literally get your form down to a T and create an extremely efficient movement pattern throughout the movement, for example your deadlift, an extremely efficient movement pattern under sub-maximal load, and you really ingrain that movement pattern into your nervous system, when you then transfer over to your maximal load, that extremely efficient movement pattern will carry over onto the maximal load. Now yes, there will be some breakdown because your body will always try and put itself into its strongest position. So there always will be some maximal form breakdown. However, it won't be anywhere near as bad as if you're constantly pulling maximal loads in a very weakened position. Now, what I recommend doing and what I do myself is break down your training into a building phase and a testing phase. So what I mean by that is you have your builders, your building movements. So let's go for a deadlift. What's the best building movement for the deadlift? The deadlift. You want to pull in 4 reps, 5 reps, all the way up to 8 reps in my opinion. Sets, 3 sets of 3, 5 sets of 3, 5 sets of 5, 7 sets of 5, 10 sets of 3. Volume. In your building phase you want to work on volume. Why do you want to work on volume? Reasons you want to work on volume is, number one, it will build more muscle. If you are constantly a 1 rep max, there's not going to be very much muscle built. However, if you're doing 5 sets of 5, 10 sets of 3, 7 sets of 5, whatever, even just sets of 5, there's going to be a lot more better, really good, dense, thick muscle that will be built, and at the end of the day, a bigger muscle ultimately will carry over onto being a stronger muscle. So that's point number one. Other reasons you want to do it, your movement pattern will be a lot more efficient. The more reps you do under sub-maximal load, the more efficient and the better you will be at pulling and moving and doing, and the more efficient you'll be at completing that movement pattern. And number 3, there's just a lot more room for improvement when pulling volume and higher reps and whatnot. There's a lot more room for personal growth, which will, 1, increase your confidence. Number 2, as I always say, improve the movement pattern. Number 3, will build more muscle, and number 4, will keep you motivated. And who doesn't want to constantly build personal bests? So don't fall into the same mistake that I made. Split it into a building phase. Once you've done that 6 to 10 week building phase, yes, then go and max out. That's your testing. Your test is 1 rep or 2 reps. Then go back to your building phase and repeat. I promise you, you will not regret it. Done.